All right. So yesterday I told you guys that we were going to do some dividing with some numbers this week. So we're going to keep practicing that so that we have that kind of in the bag before we get going on it. So number one, let's do 364 divided by 7. Start with that. Number two, let's do. I need to get my marker out. 1,234 divided by 13. And number three.
Well, he pointed, bro. He left the camera. He said, fire in the hole.
All right. You have three problems here. Focus, please. Number one, 364 divided by 7. Number two, 1,234 divided by 13. And then number three, 10,350 divided by 25. Okay, so go ahead and take 7 or 8 minutes to be working on these, please. And then we will review.
Be right back.
Okay. Get to work on these, please.
Yeah, Dylan. I'll still keep the same. His markers and legs overnight. Maybe that's what happened to my wife. Sophia became a crazy overnight. Thanks for the read. Hey, I said thank you.
Be working on that warm-up, please. Same as yesterday, some division.
If you guys want to.
Let's go and pick yours up.
Absolutely.
I'll pick yours up.
All right. They keep complaining about it, now they're like, let's go.
Yeah, but we found a game we want to play. Remember that game we were playing yesterday on the board? I busted my lip.
Don't break your neck if you're alright. Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'll take you guys with it.
No.
I busted my lip on there.
Okay, but now that that's established,
Warm up.
focus on your warm-up, please.
No, I said it's one with the fishes. Oh my God.
Now I know what.
Down there, you see me going to the ocean? He goes, boom. There's Percy Jackson? Oh. And there. In the ocean. Look, you see Aquaman.
Start working on it, go. I can help you, man.
Well, nobody wants to hear you singing.
Yeah.
It's being recorded right now, so.
During the whole Bible. Yeah, no, the kernel. Wait, cannot or it can? Put it all in trash. I heard cannot. It can. Please put it all in trash.
Okay, about 3 more minutes, and we'll review our division.
Yeah, I'm still going on it.
Okay, so you said 3 more. You got 3 minutes.
3 minutes more. I'm working on this for 5 minutes, but I don't think that it's is one ever.
Get them later, keep it up to this.
Well, we're going to use it this week, so I want to just practice it a little bit. Okay, about a minute, minute and a half, and then we will review it. Yes. We'll eat them after lunch. After lunch. Oh, you mean bring them to lunch?
Like this one?
I don't know if the lunch people would enjoy that very much.
No, they won't.
Why?
Because it's just more trash, more distraction. So after lunch, we'll eat them in here. Okay.
13 divided by 2. No.
Did you make up these ones again?
So if you get it right, subtract the 14, you're gonna end up with 0.
You know the
You're
answer.
at 13 and 41, 13 and 42.
Is anybody even doing one?
I'm going to the process of it. I'll just fold it up and.
There's no more process.
The number.
I can put them all away before that finishes them. They're just kind of cute.
Yeah, put them away.
I can replace them with other things.
Just keep the cute things. Kelly? Yeah, keep the folding paper thingy, not the blue ones, but I'm probably not gonna use it.
All right, let's go ahead and review these. Let's start with number one. We are dividing 364 divided by 7. So first thing you need to ask yourself, does 7 go into 3?
No.
No, 7 does not go into 3. Does it go into 36?
Yeah.
Good. How many times?
4. Or 5.
5. It goes in 5 times. And what do you write underneath? What do we subtract? 35. Where'd you get 0? Okay. When you subtract, what do you get?
14.
Well, you get 1. And then you got to drop down your 4. So now we need to see if 7 goes into 14. How many times?
2.
Twice. And it goes in evenly, so you get 0. So our answer on this one is 52. Goes in nice and evenly. Okay. Number 2. 1,234 divided by 13. Does 13 go into 1?
Yeah, no.
No. Does 13 go into 12?
Nope.
Nope. Now we gotta do 13 into 123. It will go in. We just gotta figure out how many times.
I know how many. 9.
You got 9, so let's try it. 13
I
times
got
9.
117.
Yeah, 117. Yeah, 117. So it is 9. Goes in 9 times. And when you do the multiplication, 13 times 9, you get 117. We gotta subtract now. 123 minus 17. What do you get? No.
That's 6.
6. You guys know how to subtract. That shouldn't be that hard. The hard part. Don't forget to borrow and do your subtraction correctly. Okay? Now we need to drop down our 4. So we need to see if 13 goes into 64. How many times? What do you guys think?
4.
Goes in 4 times.
54.
Not 54.
52. 52.
Good. 13 times 4 is 52. When we subtract, what do we get?
12.
12.
What is the answer?
But remember what I said yesterday? I didn't write this up. I didn't ask you to do it. But let's go ahead and go out to the hundredths place and do some rounding on this.
94.12? That's
Not 94.12. We need to add a decimal and a 0. And then bring up our decimal. Okay. If I add a decimal and a 0, we can drop down a 0. Does 13 go into 120?
Yeah, 9 times.
Yeah, it'll be 9 times again because we got 117 up here. This will be 9. Not always, no. When we subtract, you get 3. And we can keep going and going out as far as we need to. Let's just go out one more time. Drop down another 0. Does 13 go into 30? Twice. And you get 26. Subtract and get 4. So we can stop there. Skylar, turn your camera off. You can't be a distraction on the Google Meet, please. Well. Okay, so we're going to stop there. We're not going to go any further, and we get 94 and 92 hundredths. We could keep going if we wanted to. We could go as far as we wanted to until the decimal either ended or we decided we wanted to round it. But we're just going to stop there. Okay. But this is the important part that you guys need to remember, to add the decimal and the 0. Just because it ends and you're left with the remainder doesn't mean you can't go farther. We know how to turn these into decimals, so we're going to do that this week, okay?
Okay.
All right, number 3 should go in evenly. So, does 25 go into 1?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Not into a 1. Does it go into 10?
Yeah.
No. 25 does not go into 10.
130.
Yes, but you need to listen to the question I'm asking. Does 25 go into 10?
No.
Now, does 25 go into 103? How many times?
4 times.
4. What's 4 times 25?
25.
No.
100.
100. Okay, 103 minus 100 is what?
30.
3. Drop down our 5. Does 25 go into 35?
One time.
One time. And this is a 25 underneath. What is 35 minus 25? 10. Drop down our last 0. Does 25 go into 100? Good. How many times? Good. And that goes in evenly. So we're done. So the answer here is 414. Okay?
We have to add 2 zeros on the decimal one. Only got
To go up to the 100th place, yeah. Because we wanted to go out 2 decimal points.
Wait, then how come we didn't round it?
Well, you don't need to. Because we just stopped it. We could go out 3 decimal points and round it, but we didn't. Yeah. Can we raise our hands, please? There's a lot of calling out lately. Okay. So, there's our warm-up. We're going to go ahead and go over to Google Classroom. I'm pretty sure our assignment has posted.
Good versus bad. Oh, good versus bad. Statistical question.
Statistical. So, okay, over on Google Classroom in math. The assignment is good versus bad statistical questions. Okay. So we're gonna do the Google Slides first, and then we will do the Google document after. So start by opening the Google Slides, please. So we can review some slides, review some information first. So yesterday we learned about categorical and numerical questions, right? So a statistics question can have an answer of a category, like the months of the year, or days of the week, types of dogs, types of cereal, whatever the category is. Or it can have answers as numbers, like the number of points someone scores in a basketball game, or the number of pets that people have. So categories versus numbers. But we also need to make sure we're asking questions that are good statistical questions. You don't want to ask a question that has a yes or a no answer. It's not a good question. You're not getting very many answers out of that at all. So we're going to talk about what makes a question good or bad in terms of statistics, right? Not just in general in life, but in statistics. Okay? Statistics is where you gather data and get information from the data. Yeah. So go ahead and you can have this PowerPoint open. I'm going to kind of go through the slides as a presentation.
I'm playing with the laser.
Okay. I'm going to give you about 1 more minute to get that opened up. All right, looks like a lot of you guys are there, so let's go ahead and get going over this. I don't think it's a very long presentation at all. So, good statistical questions. A good question has variability, which is a word that I am pretty sure that you guys have never heard before. Variability.
Oh, I've heard that. I just don't know what it is.
So, take a minute. See if you can think about what it might mean. I'll ask for some ideas in a minute. See if you guys have any ideas of what variability might mean. No, don't look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Look at the root word. Variable, varies. Think about it.
Variable.
Variable.
Able to vary.
But actually, go off of what Charlie just said. Able to vary. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, think about it for a minute.
It's a variable.
We don't really have shoulder partners to turn and discuss. So, all right. Let's see if anybody can guess it. Go ahead.
Isn't it the ability to share information?
Kind of. That's a good guess. It's not correct, but that is a good guess.
Or is it getting information? Does it have to do with
Kind of closer. It has to do with the answers that you get to a statistics question.
Able to share your answers with ability, variability. Able to
Well, yes, but
You have the ability to vary your data collected.
that's kind of good too. Okay, so Dylan's kind of on the right track. He's just not using the right words. So Dylan is talking about how you're able to get the data to vary. The word vary means that it changes, that you have a lot of answers, basically. So on the next slide, variability, oh, it doesn't even have a definition. That's kind of dumb. Variability means that whatever question that you answer or you're asking has a lot of answers. So if I'm going to ask someone a question, I don't want to ask them a statistics question that just gives them a yes or a no answer. So I don't want to go up to the front of the class and try to collect data about, did you watch TV last night? Because what are the two answers I'm going to get?
Yes, and no.
Yes and no. That's not a good statistics question. Yeah, but well, especially if I get like mainly yeses, it's not a good question because did I gather a whole lot of data? No, you guys just said, yep, I watch TV. So variability means that you get a lot of different answers. So instead of asking, did you watch TV? We would ask something like, how many hours of TV did you watch? Because then people are going to give me different answers. Someone could say 0. Someone could say 15 if they watch TV all night, right? So Alex might have been the 15 answer. So things like that. What movie did you watch is a category, right? So you can ask what movie did you watch, not did you watch a movie. So you want to make sure the questions that you ask, the variability means that you're going to get answers that are a wide range of answers and not just yes, no, I don't know. You want questions that are going to give you solid answers, a nice range of answers. Okay? So a bad statistical question doesn't give you good answers. You don't have a lot of differences in your answers. So if we ask the question, how many planets are in our solar system? Oh, wait, let me rephrase that. It says, how many planets in our solar system have you visited? What's the answer?
No.
It's not none, it's 1, because we all have visited Earth. We live on Earth, right? Everybody is going to answer the same question. Even people that have been to the moon are still going to answer the same question because the moon's not a planet. Moon's not a planet. It's just a rock in the sky. No, it's a star. So why would this be a bad question if I ask how many planets have you visited? Yeah, Maudie raised her hand though, so let's have Maudie answer. Charlie, you are not Monticello. Say it again. Yeah, we need to be more specific about our question. This is going to give us one answer. People are going to say 1 or 0 if they don't think that Earth is a planet. I don't know. But they're not going to give us more than 1, maybe 2 answers. So you don't have a lot of variability in your data. You don't have differences in the answers, right? How could we make this a better question? What sort of question could we ask to get a good question out of this?
How many people like this on the planet, do you know? Or what planet do they want to do?
This is kind of a hard one to make a good question.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because we can't say how many planets are in the solar system because everybody's going to say 8 because there's 8 planets in the solar system. We can't really say how many people have visited space because
How many people don't work with NASA go to this planet?
okay, so we could ask a question about who wants to go to which planet. So we could do categories, right? No, we're not going to actually go collect the data. We don't have time for that, sorry. But we could ask a question of which planet do you want to visit? So then that could give us 8 different categories. That's a good variability, right? So we could ask a question like that. Let's look at another example. This one asks, does this question have variability? So are there a lot of different answers that we could get to this question? The question is, how many fingers do you have?
10, 20.
So I don't want, stop talking. I don't want an answer to the question. I want to know if this has good variability. Think about the word variability. It means, do you get a lot of answers out of this question? If you ask a group of people, how many fingers do you have? Is it good variability? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, focus please. So, does it have good variability? Yes or no? No. Why? I need more than a because. Alex, since you're so keen to answer, why is this a bad question? Good. People are going to pretty much give you the same answer. 10. Most people in the world have 10 fingers. That is one answer. That's not good variability. Yes, you have certain people that might have less fingers or more, depending on circumstances. But for the most part, you're going to get the answer of 10. And that's not good variability. You're getting one answer, not a range of answers. You want to get more than 2 answers to your question usually. Okay, let's look at it. Oops, too far. Let's look at another one. We're going to create one good and one bad statistical question. Let's have it be based around pets. So the category is pets. I want you to write or think about one good statistical question about pets and one bad statistical question about pets. Write it down. We'll ask for examples in a few minutes. So write them down somewhere, please. Or keep them in your head. But think of one bad and one good question about pets. Okay, one good question about pets and one bad question about pets.
Cats are lazy.
No, let's talk about-
That'd be a question.
Oh, a question?
Yeah.
Oh, why not an answer?
No, we need a good question about pets and a bad question about pets.
My dog's teeth look like shark teeth.
Alright, you guys focus on this stuff, okay?
All right. So let's start with some good statistical questions. So I'm going to type it out on here. You don't need to type them, but I'm just going to add a text box so that we have a couple. Okay. Let me zoom in.
So we don't need to type it out?
No, you don't need to type this. So let's write a few good ones. Oh, that's really small. So a good statistical question is going to have a lot of different answers to your question. So down, what one do you have written?
Why are dogs so wild?
Why are dogs wild? So that is going to give you a lot of answers. Could be like categories, but we need to kind of narrow it down a little bit. Something that's like, it's not like a really long answer, but like a one-word answer. Does that make sense? Do you have another one?
What type of food does dogs like?
What type of food do dogs like? What type of food do... So I'm gonna say what type of food do dogs eat, because there's a lot of different brands of dog food, right? So you could base it around the different categories of dog food. Charlie, do you have one?
How many pets have you ever had?
How many pets? How many pets have you had? Okay, so how many pets have you had is going to give you numerical data. It's going to be numbers, right? So in my lifetime, I've had 4 pets. Other people might have had 30 pets.
The chickens can fit.
It depends, yeah.
All right, so 30
So
plus 3 is
lots of different types of answers to that, because some people have had 0 pets in their life. Others have had Maybe if you live on like a farm and you consider all of them pets, you've had hundreds of pets throughout your lifetime. Really depends. Let's do one more good question. Data? That's going to give you a lot of long answers, though. We want to do short answers. Does that make sense? Because someone's going to be like, they'll give you long answers. Yeah. Yoshi, did you have one? You started to raise your hand, I thought. No? Okay. Marty? What type of pet do you have? So that gives us, oops, what type of pet gives us answers like dog, cat, hamster, reptile? Yeah. Do you have one, Skylar? A reptile? Do you have a pet? So, do you have a pet? Is that a good or a bad statistical question? Nope, it's actually a bad one. Because if I ask, do you have a pet? What are the two answers I'm going to get? Yes or no. So that's not good variability. You're not getting a lot of differences in your answers. So do you have a pet isn't the best of questions. Let's do another bad one. Go ahead, Dylan. Again, that's going to give you a lot of long answers. Let's try and keep the answers short. Okay, Jada. Again, that's going to give you a lot of long answers. We want short answers. Dogs can't sweat. Marty, do you have one? Or is your question, do we have to type it? Because you don't need to type it. No, I'm just writing them down. Does anybody else have another bad question?
Wait, Miss Jones. What's the good question or bad question? Do dogs have sharp teeth?
Do dogs have? Well, what kind of answers are you gonna get? Yes or no. So that's a bad question. I kept hearing the thingy go off. Do cats eat? Yeah, do cats eat is gonna give you a yes or a no answer, right? Okay. Let me give you one more example that you guys haven't really stumbled upon yet, so I'm gonna give it to you. The question, do you like dogs? Right? If you go around and you ask people, do you like dogs? What kind of answers are you gonna get? Yes, no, kinda, right? Yeah, so there's some people that don't like dogs, but this sort of question isn't going to give you a lot of different types of answers, right? So usually when someone asks a question that they're trying to make a stats question, statistical, if they use the words do you like, it's not going to be a very good question because your answer is usually going to be a yes or a no. So when you write questions and you're writing statistical questions, you want to use types of sentences like what type, how many, things like that, right? How much? Things that give you a wide range of answers. Good variability. Is this making some sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what's that? Yeah, that's going to give you not a lot of answers, right? Okay, so that presentation obviously didn't have much for you to type in it at all, so you can turn it in if you would like to. But we need to do, I guess don't turn it in yet because we got to do the Google document that goes with it. No, right now, later. So we need to open up this Google Doc. This will be one of your graded assignments, so I'm going to help you out with one or two, and then I'm going to have you guys work on it on your own, okay? I don't really have a circle for you. You could try, but I was just going to bold it or underline it. So, yeah, you can highlight the answer too. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. Everybody pull up this Google document, please. That's also on there. It's called, Is This a Statistical Question? Okay, so I'm going to let you pull that up really quick. We'll do, yeah, we'll do 2 or 3 together, and we'll see. Oh, that's a lot of the questions out of not very many questions. So, Let me check our guardian, make sure you guys are all there before we get home.
Where's the phone? You want to go fill up this water? Why are you so worried about Skylar?
All right. Let's go ahead and go over this then. So number 1 says, a statistical question is a question with a variety of answers. So the variability, you can get a lot of different answers to your question. You're going to decide whether the following questions are statistical questions. Basically, that means are they good or are they bad? If it is a good question and you can get lots of answers from it, you're going to highlight the yes or underline or bold, however you want to mark it up, but you need to do the yes if it's a good question. If it's a bad question and you don't get a lot of different answers from it, you're going to highlight the no. Okay, so let's do the first one together. It says, do you like cheeseburgers?
No. Yeah.
So you guys just gave me answers.
No, I gave you the answer.
I know, but some of you guys answered the question as like I was asking it, and the 2 answers I got were yes and no. Is there a lot of different types of answers you're going to get to this question?
Yes. No.
No. You're going to get 2 answers to this question, yes and no. I don't like cheeseburgers, I do like cheeseburgers. You can get kinda as well. But that's still not enough answers. So am I going to say this is a good question and say yes? Or am I going to say no, not a good question?
Wait, man. If it starts with how or what, is that a good one or?
We'll get there. Let's answer the first one, please. You're skipping ahead. So is this a good or a bad question?
Good. Bad.
It's bad. So do we highlight yes or no?
No.
We highlight no. Because this is not going to give you many. Oh, whoa, why did I highlight it all? Undo. When you answer this question, people are going to just say yes or no or maybe, right? That's not enough answers to your question. Okay. Number 2. Let's say you ask a room full of people, how old are you? Are you going to get a lot of different answers?
Yeah.
You can get tons of answers.
Wait, is the more answers you get, is that a good one, and the less answers you get, is that a bad one?
Yeah, the more answers you get that are different. So an age question of how old are you is like from people could say they're 2 years old. That's about how old you are when you can finally say how old you are, right? You can say I'm 2 or 104, depending on how old they are, right?
Wait, so is it like, do you like cheeseburgers, yes, and no questions like that, or yes, or bad?
Yeah, because you can only get 2 answers out of that
Is
usually.
there a way it could be like good question though?
You could try, but not really. So how old are you is going to give you a lot of different answers. Someone in here, you'll probably get around 12, right? 11 or 12. And then you got me and Mr. Turner that are not 10, 11 or 12. But if you're in a room full of a lot of different people, you're probably going to get ages like I'm 10, I'm 34, I'm 72, right? Yes, but is how old are you a good or a bad question? It's good. There's a lot of different answers that you can get. Now let's do one more together because the next one's a bit tricky. This one says, how old are your classmates? If you are in this classroom or you're online even, what are like the 2 answers we're going to get out of this?
Like 12, 13, 11 or 12.
11 or 12 basically. Most of you guys are 11 or 12. Is there a big difference in our answers there? Is there a lot of variability? No. You're only getting 2 answers out of that question. So is it a good or a bad question?
Yes.
You're getting only 2 answers. It's bad.
What if some people are held back and some people skip?
It's still not enough data. You want to have at least 5 different things, a range of 5 different numbers. So if you have 4, 3, 2, or 1 answers to a question, it's not enough data to gather. You want to get at least 5 different types of answers.
What if there's one like, how many cars are in your street?
Well, that's the next question that you have to try on your own. Yep. So, the rest of this page, so I think there's maybe 11 or 12 for you to do the yes or no's on. On the bottom for number 2, there's multiple questions that you need to answer. This is 4 points on number 2, so you need to make sure you answer all points. It says if you were trying to figure out a good statistical question about colors, what would be a good question to ask? Okay, why would that be a good question? And then on the opposite side, what's a bad question to ask about colors? And why is it a bad question? So you need to answer all 4 of those questions to get all 4 points. There is a page number 2 on here. You don't have to do it. I don't know why it's there. I forgot to delete it. So only do page number 1. So the yeses and the nos. Yeah, I don't care.
How do you delete a page?
You just delete the words.
Like you highlight all of it?
Yeah.
And then do backspace. Or hit that.
So I need you guys to finish up the yeses and the nos and do number 2. When you are done, you can turn in that assignment. And if you're online, that's all we're doing for math today. And you can head out once you finish that assignment. If you're in person, finish the assignment and then work on something educational until lunch, please.
Okay, bye.
Bye.